Welcome to the rabbit hole, where we go deep, deep into the rabbit hole. We're like-minded me. Welcome to the rabbit hole, the truth we see. There's lizard people everywhere, the conspiracies speak.
Welcome to the rabbit hole, where we go deep, uninvited from the rabbit hole. The weak-minded cheat for the open-minded people, not the little but the weak. Welcome to the rabbit hole. You sure you wanna be?
We have before us the opportunity to forge a new world order.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society.
And for future generations.
Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society. We don't have time for a
new world order.
Yes, people, how you doing? Welcome back to the Rabbit Hole Ramblings. The Ramblers are here. Ramblers Unite. It's an impromptu show. I was thinking about going live just by myself because I didn't expect these three lunatics to have the spare time to jump on at lastminute.com. I've got the Spurs 5 at 8. We couldn't do last night. We wanted to. Tomorrow night you got football. So it's going to be on Wednesday night. And I was like, you know what? I'm listening to this wild book right now, audio book. And it's all about the shadowy network, the shadow government. We all talk about the Illuminati and everything else. And obviously, I think a lot of us will know exactly, what that looks like, what that means. Some people think it's, certain things. Others think it's other things. But this book that I'm reading listening to is absolutely phenomenal. And it gives the sort of recent version of it, the credibility for it starting in its recent format to apart from like the kind of Illuminati to Weishaupt in 1776, it also gives a recent version, the kind of version as we see in the Anglo-American Empire, at least, to Cecil Rhodes and his team at the Round Table Society. And I was listening to it, and I was like, you know what, this is so cool. I want to talk about it with you guys. So I thought I'd go live by myself. Put out the link in the Ramblers chat, and Nikos is like, "I'll jump on if you want." I was like, "Yeah, of course, always welcome." And then speak to John, and then Eugene. They both just pop in, and now we're here to talk about it as the awesome foursome. By the way, guys, gotta say just before I bring in Johnny and Nikos and Eugene to see how they're doing, here's the kind of the get go. First and foremost, the show is supposed to start at 6, but I had a problem with StreamYard, so we're 15 minutes late. At 7:30, the intention was to move to members only show for half an hour, which is what we're going to try and do on every stream. I'm not sure if that's going to work tonight now because we're so far behind. So we'll probably just do the hour and a half on here, and then on Wednesday night we'll move to the members only show as usual. But I'm a little bit concerned about the channel's ability to stay in action because the video that we did last time, we were talking about Tartaria. In the final kind of 50 minutes of the show, when we pivoted before the member show, when we pivoted to talk about like Epstein and all that stuff, I can't say certain words because what I did was I brought up certain pictures on the screen and said certain words. It was flagged by YouTube. I removed the bit that they were talking about and I sent it back for reapproval. And then they ended up removing the entire content because it had pictures of people that I shouldn't have shown. It's my fault entirely. But for such a nascent channel to already have had content removed, I'm a little bit concerned if this one's going to get shut down entirely. But listen, whilst we're here, we're going to have fun. Please do smash the like button. Please do hit the subscribe, and we'll get into it. John, how are you, mate? Good to see you, buddy. You okay?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Sean. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay, but I'm a little bit tired and not feeling great. But it is what it is. We ramble on regardless. Nikos, how you doing, buddy? Great to see you.
Great to see you all as always. Never too early to crack open a beer living in Spain. So yeah, this is a nice surprise to see a lastminute.com show, but you know that one got removed the other day, so we've got to put some content out so people can watch it. But this is a good one actually. I like the idea of this one. So I know a little bit about this as well. It's like the Anglo-Saxon Empire foundations. If you've ever sort of tried to trace back where all this stuff started, this is like a good sort of foundation of where a lot of this stuff comes from. So yeah, I was interested to sort of chime in.
Yeah, so no reptiles today, no nothing like that, no aliens, just good old-fashioned corruption, power, and greed. Talking of which, how are you, Eugene?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I thought it's going to be a solo job, but then I saw Nikos and John and the link. I'm like, you know what? I cannot not jump on for a bit. So, and by the way, that the YouTube strike, it's giving you some street cred. So that means, you know,
doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's not the same.
I hope it's not a strike. I hope it's just a warning in your shell, like, you know, that we're watching you, and yeah, we'll see where we go. Just be careful.
Be careful with the words we're saying and the pictures we're showing. That's all. We've done well. 10 shows about it. So
well, it was 11 show. This was going to be the 12th, but now we're back to 11 again because the ominous 11th show has been removed. Big up to all the chat. Big up to you all. Thanks very much for coming. As you know, this channel is we are going to be doing member shows, so there is a member link if you want to join the members. You can become a rambler. You can become an alien or a reptilian if you fancy, and then maybe not today, but in general, we're always going to give everyone like a half an hour or 45 minutes or something at the end of the show, where we just talk in the kind of members only group. So appreciate all of your support that we've done. Right, so the Illuminati, the network, the concept, boys. I'm sure we can all have our own little take on it. I'll just give you before we get into Cecil Rhodes, my take on the Illuminati is this notion that or the network is that it doesn't take a hell of a lot for there to be a very small amount of powerful figures with the right intention, enough resources and will, and kind of insidious psychopathic tendencies to be able to control the masses. These days, obviously, there's access to tools and mechanisms that weren't available to those people 100 years ago, 50 years ago. Even technology's advanced, and so the game may have changed, but the rules of the game are essentially still the same, right? To set up situations by which they can control more people, take away the freedoms of more and more people. There's something called the Hegelian dialectic. Guys that are watching this, there was a Hungarian philosopher called Hegel, and he coined this term called the dialectic, which is problem, reaction, solution. Right? You create problems that don't necessarily need to exist or have to exist, but you create them in order to then utilize the people, the network that you have, the access to information and the control thereof, to control the reaction to the problem that you've created. And then once you've manipulated society into a certain state of fear or a certain state of emotion in one way or the other, then you can offer the solution that you want. And that essentially these days, it used to be far easier to convince 1 million people to do what you wanted via conquest. But these days, it's far easier to do it through consent. And Cecil Rhodes was a brilliant man in terms of his intellect, but he was a globalist, one of the early forms of globalism. He was someone who was a massive advocate of the British Empire, and he essentially wanted to continue the British Empire, to grow it, to expand it. And he had people around him when he grew up, people in positions of power, they were all about the British Empire. The problem was that there were starting to have rising influence of people with the opposite side of the narrative. And there was a situation where I think 1 million Catholics or 1 million Christians rather were murdered in, I think around Turkey, somewhere like that. The Ottoman Empire, basically there was a war and a hell of a lot of Christians were slaughtered. And this very influential geezer who was on the other side of the coin from Cecil Rhodes basically turned up and said, it's immoral. It's immoral to be supporting British Empire and imperialism if the ends don't justify the means, and it's not justifiable to see 1 million Catholics and Christians be butchered in order to in order to carry on your imperialism, no matter how good it looked. And that was the start of the point where these people, Cecil Rhodes, realized that there were narratives that weren't necessarily going to be easy to kind of walk around just by saying it's good for what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And so he then utilized, it was the first instance of the problem reaction solution mechanism, which we'll talk about in a minute. Have I done a decent job, John, Nikos, Eugene, in giving off your, how do you see that the narrative of the power struggles and the kind of search, the reach for power in the old days before technology allowed things to change?
He was one of the forefathers of like a society to advance like the British global dominance, like controlled network, the sort of plugged into influential people in politics and banking, and kind of brought it all together to move their own agendas around. So yeah, I think he did a fantastic job of explaining that to a layman, basically what this kind of like all stems from. But yeah, he was one of the sort of founding people that brought a lot of these power families we know together now, like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. You know, this is one of the foundation blocks of this stuff all coming together. So yeah.
John, what's your take on are you familiar with Cecil Rhodes, John?
I'm not actually. No, it's the first time I heard of him when you were mentioning him in the group. So yeah, this is new information to me. Obviously, not new information about the controlling.
Yeah.
Powers.
I'll give a bit more sort of detail. Sorry, John. Didn't mean to cut you off, mate.
No, cool. Please go for it.
Eugene, are you familiar with Cecil Rhodes? Cecil Rhodes. I don't know how you say his first name.
No, I'm like John. I'm not familiar, but this is fascinating, and it makes sense. So yeah.
Okay, so
tell me more.
Yeah, so this guy, he was an Oxford graduate, and he was a wealthy, educated academic, right? But he was a massive proponent of the British Empire. As I say, there was things happening. The British Empire essentially was there were people in high society in England who were essentially raging racists, right? Raging racists that basically thought that the white, in fact, on his last will and testimony, he basically said the white race are the superior race, and it's incumbent upon us to drag out the rest of the world from their horrendous existence because they're too inferior, and so we need to dominate them, we need to control them, and we need to basically bring them up to a standard. So to him, it wasn't immoral to control and dominate the world; it was doing the world a favor because he and people like him thought that the white race was just more intelligent, more sophisticated, more advanced. And as I say, there was these rising populism forces. I forget the guy's name. It'll come to me in a second. Something's triggering on my computer. But basically, what happened was, so he sat there and he realized that there was a lot of smart, intelligent people, obviously in Oxford, that could be utilized in the right way. He had connections with the Rothschilds. And the Rothschilds. So this guy was born in Bishop Stortford, but he grew up in South Africa, or in the area at the time that was known as it was the Boer area, right? This was like before the
diamonds. He was in diamonds.
Yeah, so he started the British Mining Company out there, which became known as De Beers Diamonds, which was funded by the Rothschild, not Mayor Amsher, no, it's not Jacob Rothschild. I forget Nathan Rothschild. Nathan Rothschild it was, right? One of the Rothschild descendants. But in a nutshell, what happened was he took that notion of this rising antithesis towards imperialism is all good. We're dragging up the plebs from their own levels of incompetence, and he saw people saying that the moral hazard here isn't the ends don't justify the means. And it was fascinating what they did. It was he twisted the argument. He said it's not immoral to, and he pushed this narrative utilizing the media, utilizing his friends. He'd place people in high place. He put all his friends from Oxford into high places, and he basically would turn around and say it's not immoral to leave people to their own. Sorry, it's not immoral to do what we're doing. It's immoral to not do what we're doing, because the only way these people are going to escape poverty is through the intelligence of the British that are overseeing them, right? And but there was massive uprisings in the area that is now known as South Africa. That at the time was called, there was tribes at the time in that particular part of the world, and he tried to orchestrate the first Boer War but didn't give any of the didn't give any credit to the sophistication of the Boermen, right, in their ability to fight back. And in a nutshell, they failed in their first attempt. He then met this guy called something Milner, Adam Milner, I think it is. Isn't that Alfred Milner? Alfred Milner, what I met. And Alfred Milner basically became his right-hand man, and that guy became Lord Milner, and they set up something called the Milner Group, which then from there, essentially they then orchestrated how to win the Second Boer War. And once they won the Boer War, they strung up everybody that was that attempted the first Boer War and failed, the white English imperialists. When they failed to win, they were all arrested and sentenced to death for treason. But then, because of the money that was already involved in the Milner Group and in Cecil Rhodes foundations, they basically just bought all the judges off and got to go again. And the second time round, they won. They won the second war convincingly. From there, they then set up this notion of the Round Table Group. And then there was the Royal Institute of Economic Affairs. I think it's called the IREA, which essentially moved money and politics into the same band. Are you familiar with this, Nikos?
Yeah, he set up the there was known as the Association of Helpers, which was the Round Table Group. It's United Nations, the Trilateral Commission, Council of Foreign Affairs, Bilderberg Group, and Institute of International Affairs, I think it was the other one.
Yeah, the Royal Institute of International Affairs. That's it. Yeah,
yeah,
100%, yeah.
I found it from the Bilderberg Group because that was one of the first conspiracies I got into. So when I started researching where that all come from, this is how I got onto this guy, Cecil Rhodes.
Yeah, and so this guy basically, you know, he was a very, very intelligent guy, and what he would do, he set up the Rhodes Scholarship, which came across as it was a way, and it still to this day exists. People that are like that are coming through, Eton's or whatever private schools that are, you know, just academically brilliant, and essentially it's all about loyalty towards the cause. So everybody that he wanted, everyone that came up that he thought was a young kid that had super intelligence, he would then put them in positions of power, bring them in, or put them in sort of minor positions of power, bring them into this thing called this. He had this idea called like triple ringing. So there was like 4 people in the inner ring that knew the truth around their imperialistic ideals and their control mechanisms. People outside of that didn't get into the inside group, but you only got to the second group, the second ring, if you had basically devoted if you'd shown like devotion and loyalty beyond any recompense towards the idea of what this group was trying, this network was trying to create. And then the outer ring were like the gophers that were hoping to get a part of the, you know, get some of the action, basically get some money. And it became this all-encompassing sort of power play that over the course of 20 years essentially figured out that these people, none of these people were in position like supreme positions of power. I think Cecil Rhodes was originally like prime minister over in South Africa, or what's known as like the Cape area at the time. But by the end of it, every single person that he would have, they weren't actually in the kind of visible positions of power. They were in the people that would be electing and selecting the future leaders. And they were all devotees to this notion of imperialism, that the world needed to be under the control of one secret network that would influence through money, through bribery, through control, and through coercion. Exactly the same shit that you see today with the World Economic Forum, exactly the same shit that you see today with the Skull and Bones Society, the same principles of like the secret guys behind the scenes that hold the the kind of puppet masters, and that the here today, gone tomorrow politicians. They're irrelevant, but most of those people are intelligent enough but useful fucking idiots, in as much as they all have egos, they all want to be in the power, but they would never actually get there. And as long as the overall notion of what these people believe is that there is no right and wrong in what you're doing, there's no moral hazard here, right? If you've got an outcome that you want to achieve, and it's still very visible to this day, it doesn't matter where, and people like they believe that morality around your decision making is irrelevant. The only right and wrong to this, like, to be questioned, is whether the decision to forward your ambitions was a correct one or an incorrect one, not whether it's good or bad inherently. They don't give a fuck about us or anyone else, anyone in any other part of the world. They don't care. They believe that they have a divine right to rule because of their status and their education, and they forego any semblance of any like compromise or consequence on their soul for their end games. And as long as they're doing it in the behest of, or in the kind of movement towards what they deem as being the correct outcome, which for them is all about control and power, then that's the only right and wrong thing that crosses their mind. Was it a right decision to do what we did, or was it the wrong decision? Not whether it was inherently the right thing to do morally, if that makes sense.
It's like white supremacist at its core. This is what these people believe, and they believe they were better than everybody else, and they had a right to everything else. He had an ideology that he wanted to imprint on all the colonies that were British, and he decided to employ diplomats and universities and select bankers, financiers. He brought into his inner circle some of the most influential people in the last 150 years. But yeah, it was I guess to a degree, but some would say it's white supremacy at its best.
So he died at 48, and Lord Milner took on the mantle, right? And that's Milner right. And his secret round table then moved into America. And at the turn of the 20th century, you had Taft. I think it's William Taft. Eugene, you might know your American history. William Taft was president at the time.
Yep.
Right. And he wasn't doing a particularly bad job. But the thing that pissed off the network, whatever you want to call it, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, the thing that pissed them off is that they wanted access to more resources, right? But the income tax, there was no income tax in America until 1913. Before then, all of the money that came into the US government was through trade tariffs and through selling land in the kind of gold mine era, right? That's how they would raise money. There was no income tax. Woodrow Wilson was this giant fucking ego of a bloke who was this major useful idiot for the network. They had, so the kind of American version, if you like, of Lord Milner was this guy called Edward Mandell House, who was essentially like like behind the scenes, sort of like a Cecil Rhodes, behind the scenes, almost like a fixer-upper, like a controller, a handler. And he basically would get into the ear of Woodrow Wilson and say, we can put you in power, but we need to advance certain goals' names. But he didn't need to be convinced, because he was so caught up and bought into this imperialism and this idea of like American advancement around the world. But he brought in the Income Tax Act in 1913, which then basically gave the network full access to all of the American individuals' money, or like the slices of it, which allowed them to then utilize that money to put it to work and stuff. But the thing that all of the wealthy Americans that were part of this network, what they did just before the American Income Tax Act was passed, they set up certain institutions that were essentially today's equivalent of like non-government organizations that were, non-profit organizations that were like tax exempt. So all of their money went into the tax exempt systems. But all of the individuals were let. Oh, fuck, my camera's gone weird.
That was the same year that the Federal Reserve was established as well in America.
Was it 1913? The Federal Reserve Act was it?
Yeah, December 1913. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was on Jekyll Island, wasn't it?
I'm not sure where it was.
Yeah, Jekyll Island was. Jekyll Island's where they where the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve Act obviously was private bankers, but they didn't want it. They didn't want it to be seen as a central bank because it wouldn't have gone down well with the American public. So they called it the Federal Reserve Act to make it look like it was, more of a government organization. And but every single thing, everything that we have today that's a problem, all of the money control, all of the power struggles, all of those things, it all basically started in its most visual, visceral form with Cecil Rhodes, Lord Milner, and then this guy Mandell House, who was the kind of like the American arm of the British imperialism,
and the Rothschilds.
Oh yeah, well the Rothschilds were going before. Did you know? Have you guys heard of Mayer Amscher Rothschild, the first Rothschild back in 1700?
So many of them. It gets confusing. There's so many of them. Most of them are lords.
Yeah, so the first major Rothschild back in Frankfurt, he was just a coin broker. He was nothing. He was nobody, right? I was actually having this conversation again with Grok earlier. I was like, is it right? Am I right in thinking that Mayer Amschel Rothschild, he was a nobody. He was a nobody just in a Jewish community in I think it was in Frankfurt. And he would go and like buy rare coins, and then he would like basically sell them to princes and noblemen, and essentially just do very good at trading, bit of a kind of character, a salesman, a very good salesman, Nicholas, as you would call like Elon Musk. Amschel Rothschild was one of those types of guys. But his Mayer Amschel Rothschild's father was nobody. Like they were poor, and then that guy came along, made some money, started loaning out money to like princes for fights, for local fights, and whatever else. That's how he got his control. Then he sent his 5 sons into the 5 corners of Europe,
banking, right?
The banking dynasty, and then especially as the French Revolution happened, he was the guy, or the Napoleonic Wars happened. He was the geezer that would allow allow people to move on their horses. They would be able to move between the trench warfare that was going on, and he was the guy in London when the Battle of Waterloo, when Wellington beat Napoleon. The first guy to leave, the first guy to break when they knew that we'd won, some messenger for Rothschilds flew as fast as he could on his horse back to London from Waterloo, and then spoke to the Rothschild in the banking section at the old gilt exchange, and basically said that we'd won. And the Rothschild son, Mayer Amschel Rothschild's son, who was in the London arm, started selling all of the banking bonds, right? It's like selling everything he could. And all of the other people there saw him doing it and going, oh shit, he knows we've lost the war. So they all started selling it. They all started selling all of the government gilts and the bonds that were available at the time, thinking that we'd lost the war and we were controlled by the French. And as soon as, so he sold all of his, and then as everyone else started selling it, it created this like rug pull. And then as soon as it got to the bottom, pennies in the pound, he bought the whole lot back, and then basically controlled the Bank of England in 1 day's trading.
Crazy.
Smart.
That's a good salesman.
Fucking good salesman. And it was him then that took the money, that then loaned the money to Cecil Rhodes to be able to start the De Beers Banking Corporation that would then raid and pillage all of the resources out of Africa to be able to create the wealth to then go and put people in positions of power. So all of it, all of the shit that we see today, it all basically started with the relationship between the Rothschild and Cecil Rhodes. And yet Cecil Rhodes is thought of as like a hero in many parts. And especially if you listen to academics, they'll talk about the Cecil Rhodes scholarship as like this guy was like an unbelievably good-willed, good-mannered imperialist, but actually he had the most evil, sinister, and despicable deeds behind him that to this day we are still suffering the consequences of.
Right.
I mean, but I'm just saying that's the way even the robber barons in America, like the Vanderbilts, right? That's what they did. They made their money on kind of in different industries, but then they sponsored universities and theater to kind of wash away their sins when they got old. So then people talk about them as like, oh, they sponsor arts and education and science, even though kind of they made their money on kind of similar things as well. So we've seen it everywhere with the Vanderbilts and like all the robber barons in America as well.
Who were the Vanderbilts? I know wasn't what's the geezer's name who was on CNN? He was the son of a Vanderbilt, wasn't he?
Anderson Cooper.
They had the railroad empire, so they were shipping. They like owned all the railroad tracks between just everywhere. So if you wanted to ship oil or anything else, you had to use their trains.
Right. So basically, like today's equivalent of the Suez Canal.
Yeah, and Rockefellers too. But then once the cars came along, they lost a lot of their empire. since the trains weren't as useful as before. So we have like the robber barons, we have the Vanderbilt, Rockefellers, and a couple more, but it's old money.
I think the Vanderbilts had a ferry business to start with, and then they
Yep.
built a shipping empire, and I think they went into the railroads later on. But
Yep.
this Cecil Rhodes guy, he actually was really well connected, and he selected like a small circle for his like confidants, and they all had like their own expertise. Like Alfred Milner, which is obviously the successor of his ideas, expanded his ideology, and he was a little bit more extreme with the spreading of his ideology. There was a guy called William Stead. He was in. He was a big journalist, and he was one of the ones that actually would sort of put the ideas out into the public through journalism and the political message that he wanted to portray. Also, Nathaniel Rothschild was one of his head financiers and bankers. So the Rothschild family in general, but Nathaniel was very close friends with Cecil Rhodes. Another guy called Lord Esher, Esher. He was tied in with the military and the political side of Britain.
The town that's down the road from me is named after him.
Exactly. Yeah, he was more to do with the military. So what he done is he selected someone from journalism, someone from finance, someone from the military, and also as well he was very close with H.G. Wells. A lot of people know his novels, but that was one of his inner circles as well. And his job was like to portray his message in a more literate, friendly way to the general public. So
people only know of H.G. Wells as for writing The War of the Worlds and Time Machine. I think he was just an author, but he wasn't. He was a militant imperialist as well.
Absolutely, yeah. But this was his like inner circle. So if you know anything about any of those people, like that's his inner circle. But he's very clever with his associates that he selected, But the Alfred Milner, he took over, and when he died in 1902, Cecil Rhodes, Milner took over, and he took it to like another level of what he was doing. But I think Cecil Rhodes, he was only alive for like 50 years or something, so he wasn't like super old. But his ideas and ideologies continue to this day, up until this day. And like you mentioned earlier, Oxford University, they have the Rhodes Scholarship still to this day.
Yeah.
And what it is to mold the ideology of this society into future leaders. So if you go on that scholarship program, you're fed this pathway that these supremacists help build the British Empire on.
And just FYI, I saw the comment, but for context, with Rothschilds and other Jewish families, back in those days, Jews couldn't hold regular jobs in Europe. So actually, the only thing they could do is loaning money, because that was a sin for Christians. They weren't
allowed to hold regular jobs.
Exactly. So that's why a lot of them, or most of them, went into money loaning, because that was a sin for Christians. So they're the only ones.
There was a guy called Theodore Herzl. He was the head of the Zionist movement at the time, and he tried to get Cecil Rhodes to lobby on his behalf of Israel. I think it's documented the year before he died. So he was trying to get the Zionist movement on his side, but obviously the Rothschilds were already part of the global Zionist movement. So a lot of the associates that he picked for his inner circles were already well-established Zionist families.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about like early on, like 1700s, 1600s, like super early on, the Jews weren't allowed to do anything, like no jobs. So money lending is the only thing.
Didn't the Jews get together with the Knights Templar?
It was Knights Templar but they were also in banking. So they invented the concept of banking, where you deposit money in one place and you can take it out in a different place. But the Jews, it was more like local, so they were just lending money to people, and then lending money to like princes and kings. So I don't know if they worked together, but it was a similar concept. Except Knights Templar, it was on a much bigger scale, right? In the beginning,
to fucking know, right? The Knights Templar back in the day, how crude must it have been to have got like an IOU? And also, like, if you're on the way between, let's say, London and France, or England and France, and you're on the Crusades, because obviously it was looking for safe passage, right? If you were moving towards the Promised Land, or to the Promised Land, the Holy Land, and you wanted to go pray, and you were worried about getting killed by the Muslims or whatever at the time that were fighting in like all the Crusade wars. If I've left all my money with the Freemason sect, like the guild or whatever, that are in, or the Knights Templar Guild that are in London, and then I just rock up at the place halfway there in Turkey or in Germany. How the fuck is the guy in Germany going to know how much money you've left behind with somebody? Like, you know what I mean? I'd love to know how that kind of worked itself out.
They were sending couriers, I believe, to each place with kind of the up-to-date information, I believe, based on the History Channel or based on the show that I watched. If my
Like
memory
Eugene,
serves.
like Eugene said there, the Israelis of the time, going back to like the 1800s, they didn't have a home. So they relied on being sort of homeless, which is why they created that system to be able to deposit in one place and withdraw it from another place.
What do you know about the Knights Templar, Johnny boy? Know much?
Bits and pieces. A lot of it I've bloody forgotten over the years. Yeah, there was the Knights Hospitaller, wasn't there, where we get the word hospital comes from. They had connections, didn't they, to the Knights Templar? That's where the Friday the 13th superstition comes from, wasn't it? When the Pope ordered the culling of all of them. I think it was through. I think he ordered it through King Charlemagne in France, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah,
It was on.
They were all given. They were all told to like repent and say that they were all like admit to being devil worshippers.
Well, because
Right?
the king
And
owed him a lot of money.
They did.
It's a money issue, right? He owed him a lot of money, didn't want to pay him back, and then he paid off the Pope to call them the heretics, and they were all like killed and tortured. And I think they held the main guy like in prison for like a long, long time. And then like all the mysteries are coming from it, you know, like all the like whether they were in possession of Ark of the Covenant and all that good stuff. Fascinating.
Yeah, they served their purpose, and that was it.
But they didn't go away, though, did they? I think I'm pretty sure the Knights Templar didn't they? Doesn't the story go that they moved all of their secrets because they went to King Solomon's temple and they started digging up shit when they finally took the temple from the Muslims or whatever, and whenever it was.
It wasn't a temple. The temple was destroyed. It was something else.
But they started digging something up, and they found some ridiculous secret, and then they went back to Europe and started like getting everybody, all of the rich, wealthy landowners in France and in the UK and stuff. They basically got them all to jump on. They become fabulously wealthy. Then the Christian Church or whatever, they started calling them all heretics and started trying to round them all up and killing them. And then some of them obviously died, but the rest of them went underground. And then wasn't it someplace in Scotland?
Yep. But there's also myth. A lot of them potentially went to America because then there's this whole like show on History Channel, The Curse of Oak Island. It's in Canada. Like there's a lot of secrets where there's evidence that Templars went to Canada to bury some stuff because they found like coins and they found like ancient artifacts with Templar insignia on it. So there's a temple in Scotland, so it's Scotland, but then some also potentially went to America. There's a lot of mystery surrounding.
I know what John said was right. It was the Knights of Hospitaller, which was the Order of St. John, but they were based out of Rhodes in the 1500s, and they was expelled from Rhodes, and then they was given the land of Malta. I think by Charles V, I think gave it to them. And that's where they grew in popularity and grew in numbers. And until like the 1700s, that's when Napoleon took the island back. And they were kind of like very similar story to the Jewish people, I think.
Yeah. Spurs King saying all the documentaries about this stuff and 9/11 have been wiped from YouTube over the years. That's why I don't think this channel is going to last long. That's why I think it's very important that we set up a Discord, and it's very important that we set up a Rumble account. And it's very important we set up like a Kick account because I don't think this is going to. I think we're going to be in trouble soon.
Get it while you can, people. Get it while you can.
Yeah, 100%. Big up to Rusty Spurs, who's become a new member as well. Big up to you, Rusty. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate you, boss. Hope you're okay, my man. Like I say, normally we would go straight from this show into a private members show with all members, where we can just get into some more sort of I don't know, esoteric stuff. A Telegram account as well, Melbourne. Yeah, that's what we're saying, mate. That's what we're saying. Need to get all that shit sorted before we get shut down. You know,
We won't get shut down. Just don't show those stupid pictures of that stuff. That's all.
I feel like we're already shadow banned. Like, I feel like we are. You know,
How many people are watching? Out of curiosity, how many people we've got on there? We've got
57.
First, what, 6 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, mate? You can't go bad. That's not bad. Monday afternoon.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true. 100%. No,
The impromptu show as well. It wasn't scheduled, so
that's true. Yeah, it's an impromptu for sure.
Keep the content up. It's got to keep the content online.
Yeah, 100%. The so yeah, like, I thought I want, like, obviously there's so much more to Cecil Rhodes and the Milner group to go into in the future and stuff. But I just wanted to sort of, if you guys in the chat, you know, if you're not familiar with any of these things, then you know there's a book, by the way. There's a book that this book that I'm listening to is called Tragedy and Hope, right? And it was written in 1966 by this guy Dan Quigley, who was like an old school politician. And he wrote it. He was like an imperialist. He was like he's part of this group. He was part of the Council on Foreign Relations. He was part of the Trilateral Commission. All of these things. And he wrote this book, and it's like 1,000 pages, and it's mainly just economic data and a bunch of like who's who and all this shit. And it's horrendously boring to read. I'm listening to an audio book from someone that's basically got all the decent gossip and the juice out of it, and leaving all the other shit to one side. I'd recommend that, yeah, if you're interested, if you're interested in this stuff, the audio book, this thing called Tragedy and Hope 101. It's on Amazon Kindle or whatever, you know, like the Audible.
One of the things about this story that actually always interested me is like if you've ever come across the Balfour Declaration, which was the declaration that obviously gave Israel land. He was actually Alfred Milner was the one that rewrote the Balfour Declaration. So one of the original conspiracies, if you get into it at some point, is the Balfour Declaration was written by a general in the army, but this guy rewrote it with the help of the Rothschilds. And that's what helped the Declaration in 1917 pass with lots of amendments. And there was a big conspiracy for about 20 years until 1936 where it actually come out that, yeah, they actually changed the whole declaration. It's still to this day known as the Balfour Declaration.
That's right.
This is why Alfred Milner pretty much single-handedly rewrote it himself.
Is he related to James Milner?
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe.
Maybe.
My contribution.
Milner's going for his Premier League appearances record.
Yeah.
He's going to play till he's about 62.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Listen, what we can do, guys, we can because it's an impromptu show. Should we pivot to some videos just sort of to sort of get some other get some content going? I like the video. The video thing's always fun to bring up some new stuff.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it, guys. What I'd love to ask from you guys that are watching this, right? Like, if you do pop around and wherever you go and stuff, I see a lot of people that on the channels that I'm on always saying love the rabbit hole. Do us a favor and do share the content. Do tell people, because it'd be a nice way to get more people, because it's always a little bit awkward, isn't it? The stuff that we're all into, not everybody's into. But if you do know people in your own world that are interested in this shit as well, then do let them know about the rabbit hole. We really appreciate you. Let's have a little look see at some of these. I'm not sure where these are. I haven't even titled these, so they're still just like Instagram codes. So I don't know. Let's listen to this one here, shall we? See what this one is. Where am I doing here?
Let's say I said, hey, I want to pump $22 million into your channel. No catch. Are you down?
Probably, yeah.
Would you come to this hotel and negotiate? Hear me out?
I've already done it for...
What if I took you to a nice dinner, gave you the keys to a Lambo and said, hey, bring that Lambo to this hotel, we'll talk about our investors pumping your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
You'd be here. Okay, let's play it out then. Hey, that's my niece. Just, yeah. Honey, shake Yassine's hand. Go ahead, shake her hand.
I mean, how old is this niece? I mean, I'll shake the hand.
You would shake the hand,
I'll
wouldn't
shake
you?
the hand, yeah. It's a polite gesture.
Darling, take your clothes off. And she's 8 years old, by the way. She's gonna strip naked. What are you gonna say?
Well, once I hear that, I'm gonna
No,
the hell out of there.
No, you're gonna think it's a joke first. You're never gonna think a big businessman is. What the fuck is this? And the niece, she takes her clothes off in 2 seconds. She's butt naked. What's the first thing you say? You're gonna say, what the fuck is this, right?
Probably, if I'm not already out of there.
Well, you'd be packing up your equipment and leaving, right?
Yeah. Maybe even leaving it here.
So, how many seconds would you be in that room as she's naked?
Less than one.
That's all we needed for that two-way mirror. You got the photo. You work for us. And you're gonna take our deal. That's blackmail. And that's what politics is. If I ever, and I'm not suicidal, if I ever get killed, it's because of that one.
Oh no, you said it again.
I was going to say, mate, you should avoid these subjects, mate. I think you should avoid that whole subject.
I didn't know what it was.
Get that one
I
out,
didn't
mate.
know what it was.
But yeah, I mean, I think we all agree that's kind of the stuff that goes on there. But I don't think we should discuss that particular topic, to be honest.
Oh, I can't believe he's just said that word as well after the last one.
It wasn't even going in that direction, was it? Though.
No.
And then suddenly they just, and that was the Mandela effect.
Yeah. As soon as I heard 8-year-old, I was like,
Oh, yeah. I was like, shut it down.
Shut it down.
That escalated quickly.
Offline.
Where are we going with this? Where are we going? Oh, we're going there. I thought we were going there. Okay.
And that bloody Mandela effect.
That escalated quickly.
It was all looking good until he said 8-year-old, and then he said,
yeah, they like that word.
Taking photos. I was like, oh, please, please go somewhere else with it. Please be taking it in some wild direction that hasn't become apparent yet.
All right.
However, what you were saying,
compromised politicians.
It definitely happens.
How things work for sure. That's how things work.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do you reckon it takes us 1 second though? Because surely, if that was the case, you wouldn't even need to go through the whole negotiation of $22 million or whatever he said, right? You would just be like, "We're in the room," and then suddenly the kid's there or whatever, and then it's just click. Now you're fucked.
But they don't even need to do that AI now, do they? Surely.
No, that's true. I don't think 1 second holds up in court.
That's the scary part, isn't it? That's the scary part. If you guys know in my Spurs talk show WhatsApp group, there's a picture. Grumpy Pete. His profile picture is him fixing he's an electrician, right? So he's got his screwdriver and he's fixing an electrical box. I put that picture into Grok and I said, can you please make him bend down into his toolkit and pull up an elephant's penis? And it's fucking brilliant.
Mate, I'm surprised no one's done one on us yet. I'm surprised I've been placed on a flat earth with like some crazy images or something, you know?
100%. Let me see if I can find the one. Let me see if I can find it. Is this one here? I think it's one of them. Because it took it took 10 seconds for it to happen. It might be this one. Let's have a look. This one. I made him be like a bad electrician, but there's another one with an elephant penis as well. Absolutely mental. Anyway, let's move on. This is a change of time. Energy. How about this one?
Why so few, you say? There are not a few of these giant trees. The remnants are everywhere. Our eyes only allow us to see small glimpses of what was. But the more your eyes open, the more you realize that these ancient trees were everywhere. You see, we have been told to dismiss what our eyes have told us for so long. Erasing all truths of the old world is a vast and extensive lie that branches off into all facets of our life. The lies are numerous, and the reason for it is quite simple. Those unaware of their true past, of their true capabilities and origins, are all that much more easier to control. It's not just about giant trees.
Yeah. By the way, they're not that's not AI. Because I remember my mate Andy in Australia teaching me about giant trees like 15 years ago. Like those giant trees are like for sure. There used to be trees that would reach there would be kilometers in the sky. 100.
It's in the Bible. Is it in the Bible and in religious texts? Like the trees are took. But this is how you know that the science that we are given today is compromised, because the giant trees that we talk about and we're talking about potentially there are not supported by scientists today, geology or biology. So all of them say it's fake. So every single one of those people that you would put across as like a credible like way of defining something, they all say that's all bullshit. But you've got to have eyes to see. You know, I think we've covered a few examples like Devil's Tower and Uluru Air Rock in Australia. You know, these are all tree stumps. There's loads of them. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful. It's a really nice subject, but you've got to have the eyes to see it.
What are you saying, John?
Yeah, I think it's undeniable, really, isn't it? They don't look like anything else other than tree stumps.
I'm sure Eugene will try and deny it. Go on, Eugene.
I mean, I like trees. I don't think this is too controversial. I mean, it makes sense to me.
There was a purpose.
If there was trees that big, why aren't there trees that big anymore?
That's the same. There's the purpose. The conspiracy behind it is that we used to be bigger, live longer. There was more oxygen in the air. By cutting down the giant trees, unfortunately, we've been like left with less oxygen. So we're now inferior than we were, and animals were, and plants were. Everything was bigger. But by cutting down the big trees, the cycle on Earth is now shortened in every aspect.
So how big were the biggest? Were there dogs out there then? Was Bugsy Malone like 20?
Yeah. Well, this is where we get. This is where
the dogs were too bloody big as well.
This is where the dinosaurs.
Imagine the fucking dog shit everywhere. You have to have like bin bags full to pick them up. It'd be a nightmare.
Oh, now you know what created the mud floods.
Yeah. This is where the dinosaurs come in, though. On a serious note, this is where the dinosaurs come in. Yeah, this is where the dinosaurs come in, John. So this is where they have to find a way of explaining all these big skeletons that were found of big animals. So they had to create this whole section of millions and millions of years ago. These animals existed, but they're not here anymore. They got hit by a meteor, but in fact, it's quite more simpler than that. There was more oxygen. There were bigger animals. And this is why there's only a small percentage of any dinosaur complete skeletons that have ever been found. The biggest one is like 18% or 17%. So it's like you giving me a chicken wing, Sean, and me creating a werewolf out of it. You know, this is what they've done with dinosaurs. But the whole lack of oxygen in the air, you know, is now the purpose behind taking down the big trees. But they were just bigger people, bigger plants, bigger animals.
Hold on there. I think we've got another new phrase.
Oh yeah. What's the new phrase?
It's like you giving me a chicken wing, Sean, and I create a werewolf out there.
That was off the cuff. That was not planned. That was just off the cuff. But the idea behind it is the same as what I see dinosaurs as. It's like someone's got 17% of a skeleton, and the rest of it is imagination. It's like someone giving me 17% of an animal, and me going to an extreme with it. You know, like
I mean,
it's just the reality of what it is today. But
Nikos, you do know Sean's going to go into Chick King tomorrow on Tottenham High Road before the match and get a chicken wing. And he's going to.
I'm paying £5 for this.
Yeah,
100 years ago, I'd get a fucking.
If you gave a kid right, if there was like a 5-year-old kid in the school and you went in there and said, right, here's a bone, here's 3 parts of a leg of a chicken, draw the rest of it for me. Like it's just like that's the reality of what we've got as dinosaurs.
But now I gotta push back on this. Because, I mean, if you study biology, it's like when they find human remains, right? Like fossilized remains, they can take a pinky bone and based on that, reconstruct, right, that the person.
How do they know it's a pinky bone?
Because, I mean, this
doesn't make sense.
They know? If you study human...
It's called artist impression.
This little bit here, right? This little bit here between your... Hang on. What am I doing here? This little bit there, right? That's all they find. Why couldn't that be the bigger finger? Or why couldn't that be?
That's how like all the new types of hominids that they find, like Floriensis or whatever, they don't find the whole skeleton or even the skull. Sometimes they just find like a femur bone or a pinky bone, but based on that, they can reconstruct that, whether it's a dinosaur or it's a hominid or whatever.
There's quite a large percentage that's left in imagination, and 17% is the biggest amount of retrieval of a dinosaur. So the majority of them are actually a lot smaller percentages than that. It's not even 5% the majority. It's like they find one bone and someone sits there with his little bone. He's looking at it on his little notepad. He goes, right, what can I make this into? You know, it's there's no real credible evidence to support it, you know, but the back to the point is the cutting down of the trees meant that these big animals couldn't survive anymore. And they needed to find a narrative that they could push to the general public when they do find these big bones of animals.
Now, it says the most complete dinosaur skeleton found to date is generally considered to be the Tyrannosaurus rex specimen nicknamed Sue, which is over 90% complete by bulk. It's 73% complete when counting the individual bones, 250 out of an estimated 360 total bones.
Yeah. Look at the source. Check the source out. I bet it's not. I bet when you go down the rabbit hole of the source, I bet it's not a credible source, unfortunately.
The source is
assumptions, Nico.
Are we judging Wikipedia fairly or not?
Nah, probably not. Go find the original sources. You know, archaeologist reports. You know, they do show what they find, and there is evidence they have found big bones of animals and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of it is interpretation, and you can't be using interpretation as factual for anything. Same thing me and Eugene said the other night about theoretical stuff.
But that's part of science, right? Like, if you're a biologist, or right, if you do this for a living, like that's what they do, right? They can study the bones, and based on the bone density, based on what, again, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know, but based on that, they make certain assumptions. But that's kind of what they do.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. But you got to be critical here. You got to say, okay, well, you can't say this is 100% what it looks like if a certain percentage is imagination.
I mean, if it's 70%, but like, I guess if we're arguing whether they look they looked exactly the way we think, I agree with you. However, with the argument whether they exist in the first place, if 70% of bones is there, it means something is there.
What if say for example, short example, there was right, the 73% is the biggest skeleton they found. What if the missing 27% happens to be the head, which shows a dog?
Well,
that's fine, but that's about. I mean, but even if it's a dog's face, but the question is whether the dinosaurs existed in the first place, right? So, like the 70%, that's enough for us to say, yep, something was there. Whether it looks exactly like
I agree something. I agree something 100%. I'm just saying, like when you're relying on somebody making things up off their imagination, it falls into the category of like theoretical to a degree, no?
Oh no, I mean from that perspective, sure, but again, I'm gonna have to defer to, you know.
Mate, I'll bring receipts. Don't worry, mate. I'll get the receipts. Don't worry. Next show, we'll get the dinosaur receipts. That's due one.
I just got to quickly answer this, Destiny. Like, can you go back like 4 minutes, 5 minutes in the stream, maybe 6 minutes, like before we started talking about dinosaurs, because there were like shadows over my face at one point. It was on this side. You go back a few minutes, right? There was a giant shadow across my face. And it was like, and then suddenly it just disappeared. I'm looking at myself on the stream, and I was like, "Where's that shadow coming from?" And then suddenly it's just disappeared, and like nothing has changed in this room. Nothing has changed. And as I move back and forth, right, you can see Bugsy's thing here. As I was moving back and forth, like the shadow would sort of like wait, and then it would just appear. I swear to God, the time between this, I might be tripping a little bit.
You're a bit paranoid. It's cool.
There was a shadow across my face a minute ago, about 6 minutes ago, and nothing has changed in the room, but it was like a dark shadow across my face. I think there's a fucking ghost, there's a shadow man in my room, guys.
The time stamp
live on stream.
52 minutes, right? About 52 minutes on the review.
Go back to about 52 minutes, and then just you can see like a dark shadow across this side of my face.
Uh-oh.
And nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. I'm a little bit paranoid. What's going on?
Look, mate, I'm gonna have a look now. Have a look now. Have a look now. Have a look now. I've got
Where are you? What are you doing? Yeah, I'm always a bit spooked by it.
How many minutes? 52.
It's about 52 minutes, 51 minutes. It must have been about 6 minutes ago, just before we were starting. Maybe 53 minutes. There was just like this side of my face. There was like
after the trees, right? After the tree video, right?
Yeah, just during the tree. Yeah, after the tree video. Yeah, for sure. After the tree video. Yeah.
Well, I'll look on my phone, see if I can see anything.
Hey.
All right. In the meantime, I appreciate it. In the meantime, let's. So we've done the giant trees thing. There's definitely giant trees are definitely a thing.
Yep. Sean is a shapeshifter.
Let's go for what are we doing here? Let's go for have you heard of the WEF, World Economic Forum, right?
Yeah.
So we're speaking earlier about the idea of sort of shadow governments, right? With the WEF definitely is. They have young members of the WEF, and they're open about it. They infiltrate every government, everyone that they can, every country, and they place their leaders on both sides. So it doesn't matter who gets elected because they've got their people in power. I remember when the most recent British Prime Minister, the Indian fella, Indian-looking fella, what's his name? Who's the British Prime Minister before
Rishi Sunak.
Rishi Sunak, right? So Rishi Sunak was a member of the young WEF, as was Liz Truss before him, as was Keir Starmer. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who gets in power, right? They've already got their shills on the bench. But I always looked at Russia and thought that Putin was like holding back the WEF. Like he was one of the guys. Why are they so dead set on getting rid of Putin? I know he's a bad geezer, but there's bad geezers everywhere. Why is it anyway? So listen to this. Listen to this Klaus Schwab bozo talk about Putin.
And I have to say, when I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin, and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
Mm-hmm.
But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina, and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with the president, with a young global leader. But what is important for
we're fucked. We're fucked. Even Putin is part of the global government cabal. You know. So why are we going to war with them? He's part of them. He's part of their group. So was there a shadow?
Yeah, I saw it. I played it back in.
Ready? I'll play it. I'll put it on the stream right now. Ready?
Go on then. Yeah.
And you even looked at it. Like, there you go. You look above. Like, what is that?
What the fuck was that?
It was right at the end of the trees. It come across your shoulder, mate, and you weren't moving. Come out of nowhere.
This is amazing. Live on stream, there's a paranormal encounter.
There's nothing in this room. I get the chills watching that. There is nothing in this room.
Mate, you wasn't moving. You were sitting like that, and it come across your shoulder. It went across your head, and then it went
there was a light up here. There is nothing in this room. There's nothing in this room. What the fuck was that?
Mate, it was about 53 minutes. It was right at the end of me talking about the trees. Just for anyone wants to look back, mate. Oh, get a short of that on there. Get that edited up.
Oh, what's going on?
That's creepy. It gave me chills, Sean. That did.
Ah, go away. Leave me alone.
Hey, get the sage out. Get the sage out. Oh, creepy. Keep an eye on your nice green shirt and see if he comes back.
I don't like it. I'm going to end the stream, Dave. End the stream. Destiny's still going after Eugene. Every stream, Destiny's got he's got a bee in his bonnet about you, Eugene.
Go on, Destiny.
Go on, Destiny. I'm sorry for Eugene. Leave Eugene alone.
Did it happen again? It happened again.
Yeah, I think so, mate. Yeah, I think it happened again.
No, I'm not talking about this little thing here. That's just my face on the t-shirt. But there was like a. You saw
Mate,
it,
it
right?
come over your head. Like there was like a shadow. It was like a line. It was like a line that went over your head and then went across your body, and you looked up at it.
Well, is there a window? Is there maybe, is there a window?
There's nothing in this room that would cause a shadow.
He's not moving either. He's not moving. So if he's the only one in that room.
There was energy behind you just before that came up, because when I looked at I backed it up on my phone.
Yeah, me too. It looked like green screen.
There.
All right, next time.
It just happened again. Look, it's happening right now.
Yeah. Hello, Mr.
I'm not moving. I am not moving. I swear to God. Look at it. What the fuck is going on? That is not me. What the fuck is going on?
Why? That's well strange, mate. Say your prayers, mate.
Yeah, it's the ghost of Helga. Destiny's Queen.
Yeah.
Hey, next time we're gonna go ghost hunting. Get all the props.
Yeah, it's behind your left arm, and it's around about the height of the chair. There's movement behind you. Yeah.
Over here or over here?
Mate, I thought I saw it behind you as well. I thought it looked like you had a green screen behind you. When you're on a green screen, you move back a little bit, and sometimes your shoulders get blurred.
It's not a green screen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I've not seen it before, but yeah, whatever you've been up to, mate. Yeah, you've got something hanging around. Say your prayers. I'll keep an eye out, mate. Anyone that sees it in the chat, write it down, like write a timestamp, and we'll edit them all out. I've seen it 3 times, Sean.
Sean, am I going to have to come round and get rid of that shit, whatever it is?
Hey, bring in
I'm coming around to yours, Sean.
Mate, you've gone white. Sean, you've gone white.
Exorcism.
Okay, it's on my thing now as well. It's on here.
It's a secret WEF weapon.
Yeah, I've seen over your right shoulder. It had like a white dot at first, and it like was morphing on your shoulder.
Uh-oh.
That's well fucking strange. What the fuck?
There's no background blur. There's no background blur on. If I put the blur on, it goes. That's just the wall. It's just the wall in the background. That's just us wallpaper.
After we were going for about 15 or 20 minutes, I could feel like a movement, like a spider web on my head, like that over there. So there's definitely some activity tonight. There's some shit going on.
Eugene's about to go. Eugene's about to put his camera off.
Mate, we found the perfect time.
Is actually afraid.
I think it is Eugene.
Hey,
we found the perfect time to ramble. From now on, we do ramblings at this time, so we can find some ghost activity.
Mate, I swear to God, it keeps happening here. It keeps happening over here somewhere.
Yeah.
Is the dog in there? Is she gone?
No, there's nobody in here. The door's closed. There's nothing on the lights. There's nothing in this room.
No, I'm not saying the dog's doing it, but she go out before then, or is she not?
No, the door's closed. There's no one in here. There's nothing in here apart from me, a glass, and my new Stella glass with a can of. I've decided to sort of tone down my drinking, so I'm now drinking natural lime White Claw, hard seltzer. That's it. There's nothing else in this room that could be creating a shadow.
Yeah, I'm saying she
created drop the temperature. Is it cold? Because that's what happens when ghosts come.
Dogs will often leave the room. Dogs will often leave the room if there's.
The first one at 53 minutes, John. The first one we noticed, he wasn't moving. You can see his hand like this. And then you can see the shadow come across his hand like this, and then it goes over his shoulder like this. He's not moving. There's no way he possibly would have done that. There's no way he could have done that.
It's not
a shadow people, is it? John, what's behind you? Who's behind you, mate?
What's behind me?
just trying to see if you shit yourself.com, but you're okay. You're okay.
And if you notice as well, Sean bounces around his chair a lot. That hasn't happened again. So all the way through the stream, you can see Sean moving around and stuff. And that doesn't come back. No.
And so for the members only section, we're gonna do a full exorcism. It's gonna be an exorcism. It's gonna be crazy.
I'm not sure if we're gonna have time for the members only section because it's already 7:20, and I've got a show at 8, and we've only done an hour and 9. So should we leave this one non-members and just go? And we'll do it on Wednesday night. We'll do members. We'll do a longer members only section. Let's get this. Let's do another video. Let's do another video, shall we? Yeah. Here's a weird one.
Why does every American school let a random company walk in and photograph every single kid year after?
That's a little creepy when you put it like that.
Year after year, like clockwork. Why is it normal?
Yeah.
Cut the stream, Dave.
Cut the stream, Jamie. Cut the stream, Jamie.
Yeah.
Go straight to kids again. Cut the stream.
When you hear kid, just
But so many of the videos that come up in my feed, it sounds weird, but so many of them about the Illuminati somehow link down the track of like, you know, weird shit. Okay, let's go to Tucker Carlson and aliens. How about that?
Okay, better.
But you don't think this is our technology?
No, I do not. There's no way it is our no way is our technology. There's, I've talked to too many pilots. Why would we risk our best? I mean, I've talked to the best pilots in the world that are ours. Some of them, not all of them, and that have told me. I mean, one guy, I remember I was at the Capitol Hill Club. It was just an unusual encounter. A guy spoke to a group and he followed me out and said, you know, Tim, or congressman or whatever, he said that thing was 14 feet. He went like this from my canopy. And I thought to myself, why didn't he say 15? Why didn't he say 20? But he said 14. And then he said this thing, it wasn't ours. He said, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't ours. And that's all he said. And I had a very high-ranking member of the Navy describe some underwater experiences they'd had with something that was doing 200 miles. And the best thing we got is probably 40. It
was doing 200 miles an hour underwater?
Underwater, big as a football field. And that's no fish.
So is it possible, given our current understanding of physics, for any man-made machine to go anywhere near 200 miles an hour underwater?
Not with our technology, no. The best we have is probably in the high 30s. And he was converting it. Of course, knots is what the Navy guys would do, but there's nothing.
If I fire a 30-06 or any high-caliber rifle underwater, it doesn't go 200 miles an hour. I can probably catch it in the length of a swimming pool or so.
Yeah, or it just falls down.
Finally, yes, this is what I've been waiting for.
Take it away, Eugene.
Oh, no. I mean, this is spot on. There's been a lot of reports that I was listening to an admiral on a pod, like an admiral, not some, and he was saying there have been a lot of, like submarines have witnessed a lot of similar things where like huge, I don't know what they call them, but huge like football field size things going super fast underwater. And that's been the case for a long time. That new doc, The Age of Disclosure, I think it's on Amazon. So, and
you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet, but I just heard about it from Rogan, and the guy was on. I mean, Marco Rubio is in it, like some super high level people are slowly coming out and talking about all this technology. The question is whether it's all a big psyop or not. I believe that it's real for sure. However, there has to be a reason why all that's coming out slowly right now, right?
Because they're getting ready. They're getting ready to fucking dump the fucking Project Bluebeam on us.
Yeah, no, I mean
that's definitely going to happen. In the next 3 or 4 years, there's going to be an alien invasion. But whether it's a real alien invasion or whether it's all just a fake as fuck one, but it don't matter. My next door neighbor, your next door neighbors, they're all going to go, oh shit, no way, and then we're all going to get back to work the next day. Because you know what, like everybody who pays attention, who's listening, who now believes that because the government are coming out and saying it, we're all now, if you believe it, we're all now on board this notion that, aliens are real. They've got recovered craft and shit. Has anyone freaked out? No. Has it had any reaction that anyone was like, civilization's going to implode because it somehow debunks religion? No one gives a fuck. Everyone that's like into that sort of content is now aware, if you believe it, that those things exist. And has anybody changed anything about their life because of it? No.
The thing that always concerns me is when a bunch of politicians agree on stuff, you should probably think otherwise. We're same thing what we said about the Antarctic Treaty. When these guys start coming out and disclosing stuff, like you should be suspicious, But John's Ghostbusters. My theory on it all, all of these spaceships and stuff, I think I said it in one of the early episodes, is like at the end of Satan's little season, the crisis comes back and it will come back with his camp of saints and he will come from the air. So I think what they're doing is they're conditioning people to be against that and fight against that, support the fight against that. So I think the disclosure time is upon us. I've been waiting 10 years for disclosure, to be honest. I've been waiting for about 10, 12 years for this to come together. But I think it's to garnish support. Yeah, I've been waiting for this to happen for about 12 years, I think. Yeah,
But you don't believe in aliens?
No, I know it's not aliens. Though. I don't think it's aliens. I think it's the coming of Christ. I think it's the end of the Satan's little season. But what they want to do is
explain to me Satan's little season.
Satan's little season is the period of time after being chained for 1,000 years in a bottomless pit, where he gets to reign rife on earth and make people make bad decisions to join his allegiances before the Christ returns, and he garnishes and puts them back into the pit. So there's this period of time where morality goes out the window, where insanity rules. You know, if you look at what we've been living with for the last 30 years, 20 years in particular, with all the sexual movements and the insanity that we've had to endure.
Yeah, wokeism and all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it ties into that.
Why are you looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to it because it means that there's an end. There's an end to this journey, you know, and then it will be.
How long is Satan's short-term reign supposed to last?
A season is a quarter of a year, so a season is a quarter of a year. So
it doesn't necessarily mean it's a weather season. It could be a fucking a season. It could be a season of Breaking Bad that split over 2 years.
It's open interpretation, but if he's in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years, a season could be a quarter of it. So we're saying 250 years would be.
Why are you looking forward to it? You're not going to see the end of it.
Well, maybe, but I like conclusions of movies. I'm one of those ones that likes the ending. So
I don't know, man. It's
we're in a simulation. That's what it is.
Every civilization has always said we're in the end times. Right? Yeah. Every generation, has always thought we're in the end times, right? Like World War II, people thought it was the end of the world was coming. The Cold War people thought that the end of the world was coming. Then you had the Millennium Bug people thought the end of the world was coming. Then you had the financial crisis, the end of the world's coming. Then you had COVID, everyone's going to die. Like every single time, it's never the end of the fucking world. Like, hurry up!
Yeah, come on, get
on with it. If you're going to end the world, fucking end it.
The play is at the end of Satan's little season is the armies from the four corners of the world have to surround Jesus and his camp of saints. So what has to happen in this period of time we're in now is someone has to unite the world armies to fight against a common enemy, which goes back to that US presser that we saw and spoke about with, was it Reagan? You know, they still get together and our common goal is, to unite stuff. It all ties into, they need
a raging globalist. Globalist.
Exactly. So the whole idea behind UFOs would make sense that everybody around the world, no matter where you are, would be against something coming from the sky. But what if, just to throw a spanner out there, that's actually something else than what they're telling us?
I think it's the opposite, though. My thing is, I think they've been here for 1 million years. They've been here before the humans, and now they're seeing that we're fucking things up. And with it, there's a reason why we see the UFOs over the nuclear bases, because they think something is going to go down, and they don't want us to mess this up. That's one scenario, or it's a simulation.
If you was just to throw a sort of another perspective, if you were that technologically advanced in another civilization, the same way we talked about with the Milner group, is you just are they're inferior to you. You just dominate them whichever way you see fit. You know, why would they be so tiptoey around it all for 60 years? Why would they make agreements with governments? And they wouldn't, especially if they've flown from 500 billion light years away or whatever. You know, they must be on a good clock. You know.
No, but I think they're here. But that's the thing. I think they've been living here forever. Like whether they came from Mars, like the remote viewers were saying that they saw this, whatever. But they've been here for a very long time, or it could be all a simulation. So this whole they could be running simulations on us. So again, that's my probably thought. But the whole concept of God or of the higher power, it could be just somebody running a simulation and checking up on us.
Do you think we're just like the imagination of some alien in his mother's basement?
Well, look,
but we're okay with remote viewing. Is that what I'm saying? You're saying so?
We've got to do a video on remote viewing. That shit's crazy.
I've seen it. I believe it, dude. There are some people like whatever his name is, but there was also a lady. So I think I listened to 4 different viewers from the Stargate program that the CIA ran in the 70s. And again, like their hit rate is insane.
It didn't stop.
Things
by the
that they
way. It's still going
found,
on.
like they feed hostages, they found like spy planes. It's crazy. And they're the ones who are saying like about Mars and about the melting of the ice caps in a couple of years that like some shit is going to go down. So they're not always right, but the things that they've been right about is like 70% clip. It's crazy.
Yeah. The thing is, it's like goes back to the thing we said the other day about like theoretical. You know, it's facts or not facts. You know, when you've got someone who's remote viewing it, it's like more of an opinion than anything else. There's no facts behind it. It's someone's dream or induced.
Oh, but they check it. So for an example, and I think it was on record under Carter. He actually like the U.S. lost a spy plane somewhere. Nobody could identify where it is. They contacted this guy, I think John McNung, whatever. I can't say his name, and he gave the exact coordinates. I think it was somewhere in the desert where the plane is. They found it, and Carter actually on TV came out and said, "I had this like psychic spy or whatever. We found the plane." That's on record. They also freed like a general was taken hostage. They found like a bunch of spies in the CIA. There's a confirmed list that was declassified of things that they actually kind of found, and
This
whether
feels
it's their
very much
imagination
like
or not, but actually it's tangible.
Yeah, I know those examples. Remote viewing feels to me like the tarot lady at a ground fair. You know, the woman at the fair with the cards and the little table.
Yeah, more advanced than that. It's more advanced than that. Mate.
But it's consciousness, right? Like if you believe
the CIA funded it. The CIA like legit funded remote viewing experiments.
Yeah,
Or
the KGB as well.
For like 30 years, hundreds of millions of dollars went into it. So like,
so this
they wouldn't have done that if it was a load of bullshit, would they?
So they said after the Soviet Union fell apart, the remote viewers they went to their Russian counterparts and they had these discussions because KGB ran the same program, and I'm sure China as well. So and like I believe like if you believe that consciousness is a thing that right, it's not like we tap into it, then it all makes sense. Like certain people can receive more information than others, and you can train yourself, right?
So you're believing the word of one person without any proof. That's what I'm saying. It's like that person could be making up complete nonsense, and they, like you said, what was the example you gave me last week? It was like David Icke. If he says 1,000 things, he's going to get 3 right. You know, like it's
David Icke got nearly everything right though.
He's got a lot right. I must say,
he's got so much fucking right.
But his stuff is his stuff is like theory about certain things. But if you say here the longitude and latitude, and you're gonna find whatever
you do
here,
that's not his skill set. You know,
that's different.
Like number one, he can't find at the back of the net, but he can hold the ball up very well. You know, it's different skill sets, same role. Let me quickly just get a couple of super chats. Actually, there's more members. I love it. This channel, like. I think we're going to get suppressed. I really do. And if I'm entirely honest, I think the channel's going to get shut down before we get going. But I just want to say, even if we only last a couple more weeks before it goes, I just want to say a massive thank you because the audience has been absolutely sensational, and you're all joining as members. And it's fucking brilliant. I wish we had time today to do a members only show, but we don't because I've got to do the Spurs 5 thing. But on Wednesday night we'll do an extra. Well, I'll do an extra long one. You guys haven't got to stay for the whole time, but. Appreciate you guys so much. Mike 3Y88 or Mick 3Y88. Big up to you, man. New member as well. Big up to you, buddy. And George Super Cup Legends. Big up to you as well. Has also become a new member. Got 3 new members today. 3 new members. Unbelievable stuff for an early show as well. An early show that had 0 pre-warning. Delicious from you lot. Destiny. Big up to you, Desto. He says Crystal Skulls and Bigfoot, please, next time.
Bigfoot's a good one. But the thing is like, let me ask a question to the audience. Like, Sean could show us 100 videos of Bigfoot. Every single one of them you could pass off as AI. Like, how interested would you be to potentially watching 90% AI videos of people create and put on TikTok?
Yeah.
It's kind of a bit of a weird one, you know?
We have to go and find the old school stuff.
The old school stuff, even the old school stuff, mate, still like looks a lot faker than the ones these days, mate. The AI ones these days are better. Honest.
Have you seen that video of that geezer who's driving down in Colorado somewhere? He's driving down the highway and he's like, what the fuck is that on the top of the mountain? And there's like this guy, there's like this figure that's like on the top of the mountain walking along, and he must be like, I don't know, 10 foot tall or whatever. And he pulls over, him and his mate, or they record it. He goes back the next day and goes for a wander into the woods. and then he gets like basically followed everywhere he goes for putting out a TikTok video or something on it. He gets followed everywhere he goes, and then he disappears, and then he's dead. All of a sudden, he's dead.
Yeah, there's an obituary for him. There's an obituary for him a bit later on. He goes back to that same viewing point 3 times, and then the one time he goes on his own, he's met by what he thinks is like a police cruiser.
Yeah, geezer in a black car, always black.
And the black car that's blocking off the road to the mountain comes and sits outside of his house a couple of times. But that guy, he was really famous. I wouldn't say really famous. He was infamous because he'd done like a few TikTok videos that people were interested in, and then unfortunately, there was an obituary in the local newspaper of his death. I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head, but it's quite interesting.
I watched a Y-Files video on him. I think he might have also the geezer on Y-Files reckons he might have faked his death or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Who knows?
The thing is, like, you just don't know, do you? That's the thing is, stuff like that, you just don't know. But he does take videos of like these cars outside of his house. That's the same one that met him at the end of. But that could be just his mate sitting at the bottom of the mountain. You know, like.
Yeah. Maybe he had major gambling debts or something, and needed to create an elaborate hoax to
maybe he's trying to get out of the vaccine program or something. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. Big up to you, Destiny. We can certainly do crystal skulls. What a topic that is. Love the crystal skulls, man. Thank you very much, Desto. And Craig's in the house. Big up to you, Craigie. He says it keeps floating over Bugsy's bed. Yeah, it does. This fucking shadow thing. Yeah. I'm a little bit freaked out by it. I've got to be honest. I'm a little bit freaked out by that. Don't know.
I'm going to watch it back.
Sending it in from the other room.
What are you saying, John?
Bugsy's sending it in from the other room.
Yeah, she's saying, yeah, if you ain't going to throw that fucking ball, then I'm going to throw shadow. It's just gone over me again.
Yeah.
It's gone down here. No, this way.
Are you getting chills? Are you getting chills down your arm, Sean? Are you getting chills?
No, nothing more than the usual bad heart spasms that I get from over alcohol. But
the dodgy gear.
Maybe this is your last night on Earth, my friend. Maybe this is your last night on Earth.
Let's talk to it and see if it does anything.
Yeah. Hello.
Come and say hello to this. Come wave at the TV. Come wave at the screen.
Did you see Tottenham got Aston Villa in the FA Cup?
Yeah, at home.
Really?
Yeah, at home. Not that. I'd rather play them away. I think with our current form.
Arsenal got an away game for a change.
Who have Arsenal got?
Portsmouth.
Go on the Portsmouth.
They're hardly ever away for that draw. They're normally always.
Tour and spit on that Yang is going to do us a favour.
The FA can do everything they can to give Arsenal a trophy this year, mate, to keep Mikel Arteta in a job. I think they've already got bottom of the league.
Ed, please don't say that sort of shit, mate. I remember I went to Australia about 5 years ago to see my mate, and he took me up into the mountains to meet his mate that I knew before I left Australia.
It's it again, mate. It's done again. It's done again. It's done again on the shoulder. It's on your left shoulder. On your other shoulder. Other shoulder.
Over here.
That side. You just did it again. You're not moving. You're sitting completely still. I don't know what that could be, mate.
I swear to God.
No, because you would see your arm or your shoulder move. If you was doing something in the side, you'd see your shoulder move.
Can you fuck off, please? I'm trying to stream, mate. Hello? Give me a fucking breather. Anyway, so I want to see this. I want to see this bloke called Cobbers, Dean Cobber, his name was, and they called him Cobbers. And he's got this new missus that he's fallen in love with, who was like a spiritualist, and they were like they'd put sage and stuff in rooms to kill off the spirits and that. And they would eat mushrooms and all this stuff. And I didn't know anything about any of that stuff at the time. And I went to see them, and we did the tarot cards thing, right? Just for a bit of fun. I was like, yeah, fuck, I'll have a go. And so you're supposed to just like you shuffle the deck, and then until like a card just pops out of you, and you feel attached to it, so you read it. And it did kind of resonate, but then I think all those things can kind of resonate if they're vague enough to allow you to, But then I said, his missus comes in the room, and she's getting introduced to me for the first time, and then she goes like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." And she looks above my head and goes, "Oh shit," and I went, "Oh shit, what?" She goes, not sure I should say. I was like, no, now you have to say what. And she goes, okay, you sure? I was like, yeah, what? She said, you've got like an incomplete aura. You've got a hole in your aura.
I remember.
And I was like, oh, what the fuck does that even mean? What does that even mean? But either way, I'm like, what are you doing to me?
Mate, do a little experiment now while you're on the while you're on the end, before the end of this live. Do an experiment where we're all silent, and you just ask it to put his hand on your left shoulder. Say, in the name of Jesus of Nazareth, if you're here, put your hand on my left shoulder. and see if we see the shadow appear. And we'll be silent and see if it happens. But you got to say it.
If we do it now?
Yeah, do it. Jesus of Nazareth, if you're here, put your hand on my left shoulder.
Are you asking Jesus to be there?
Oh,
in the name of Jesus of Nazareth, if you're here, can you put your hand on my left shoulder? Yeah, you fucking pisser.
Jesus got better things to do.
Didn't do anything.
I'll watch it back now. We'll watch it back. I'll watch back the stream. I'll try and take some notes of some timestamps of it floating around because I've seen it a few times.
Matt, 100%. Bugsy Malone is 100% tuned into shit that we can't see. Yeah. Like sometimes I'll take the dog out late at night, or not even late at night, like I don't know, 6 o'clock when it's getting dark, and I'll go, do you want to go down? You know, we walk the same way every day, and some days I'll be walking along, just leaving the house, and then she'll just look ahead, look up in the sky, and then just go like that. I am not fucking going any further. I'm not interested. I'm like, Bugsy, there's nothing here. Let's go for a walk. She's like, no, I'm not interested. And I always think, like, can she sense something? Is there something that she can, something that she can feel,
I think their eyes can see, I think they can see different light spectrum.
Yeah, they can, yeah. Yeah, 100%.
John will know. John, have you whispered to a dog that tells you it can see ghosts? I see dead people.
Yeah, all the time,
yeah. John is talking to dogs. All right, makes sense. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, John's a dog whisperer. What are you saying, John?
What am I saying? What you've got there. I'm fascinated now. I want to come round. I used to read tarot a while ago.
Did you?
Yeah, I was trained in London by quite a well-known tutor. And I did it for about a couple of years. I was involved in all that sort of stuff, mediumistic stuff, circles and whatnot.
We need a live demonstration. We need a seance. I'm in.
Yeah, I've done them before.
Let's do it. Come on, John.
You wouldn't do a Ouija board, would you, Eugene?
Huh?
You wouldn't do a Ouija board?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't fuck that shit. Or you Ouija from now on?
For the sake of the show,
Ouija.
I'll take a chance. For the sake of the stream, I'll do it.
You would do a Ouija board?
For the sake of the stream, if we do it live, I don't know how that's gonna work because we need.
No, you can't. You got to do it all in part. You got to do it. See, I would never fuck
in Antarctica.
I think I did do it once upon when I was a kid. I would and like nah. Why would you fucking play into those? Why would you roll the dice like that? Let some little shit out of his box to come and.
You got to know what you're doing though. You can't just go for it.
You got to know how to close it. You got to know how to finish it.
Yeah. Have you used the spirit?
Why would I fucking want to open it? What?
It's okay communicating, but you got to know how to seize communication. That's the trick to it, I think.
Why would I want to communicate with someone who I can't see?
They're floating around your bedroom by the looks of it. So you might
that's bad enough. I didn't welcome them in here. I didn't ask them.
Speaking of a Ouija board, do you know this guy? He's online. He's really big. He's like telling scary stories, like the real life. Scary, what's that? I forgot his name. But there was a crazy story about the Ouija board where those two girls, their mom died, and they wanted to talk to her through the Ouija board, and all of a sudden they started hearing sounds and knocks on the wall. They're like, "Oh, the mom is talking to us." So they told their dad. Everybody thought they were crazy. Then the dad started hearing the sounds too. Long story short, it's been going on for like a week. They've been knocking. They hear knocks back. It turned out there was a serial killer living inside their wall. It's a real story, a true story. How crazy is that?
The serial killer
and they found it. Yep, he was dressed up. He came out dressed up in their mom's dress or whatever, and then it was crazy story.
How the fuck did he get in and out?
He dug from the ground. He dug a tunnel, and he lived inside their wall because he was obsessed with one of the girls. So the dad saw some shadow in the window. When they were out, he called the cops. The cops we don't see anybody. Nobody's here. And the cops said they're gonna wait outside the house in the car. The dad saw the shadow again in the window. The cops nope, nobody came in and out. And then that serial killer came out and started it was crazy story.
Crazy, man. Give me the creeps more than a Ouija board does.
Oh, for sure. But imagine living inside their wall for months. And knocking and pretending he was the mom.
Have you guys heard about the Doddleston messages?
What? No.
The Doddleston messages, right? So I was asking Gemini, I was like, you know what? I'm doing this channel and we're doing conspiracy stuff, but I'm also open-minded to like sort of just do some storytelling. Give me some fucking cool stories that not many people are going to know about. They're a little bit kind of cryptic, a little bit spooky, a little bit weird. Like I don't want it to be all ghost stories, but a little bit kind of, you know, just crazy stuff. And he goes, yeah, cool. I'll give you like 20 ideas. And one of them was this idea called the vertical plane. It was the Doddleston messages, right? And it's basically in this meadow cottage in Doddleston. True story, this is near the Welsh border in 1985. And this guy is a teacher. His name's Ken Webster, right? He's a teacher, a high school teacher. And his girlfriend's name was Debbie, who was a witness. And basically, he had this BBC microcomputer. Have you heard of BBC microcomputers? They're like the very first versions of computers. There was no internet, no Wi-Fi, none of that shit. So it's basically just like a basic kind of black screen with text and type. And this guy goes into his he buys a like a remote log cabin or whatever in the woods somewhere. And he's sitting there like about to go to bed or whatever in his cabin, and suddenly the computer comes alive and starts getting messages from two different entities. One of them was from someone that claimed to be from the 1500s that was writing in a very
in the shadow.
What the fuck is that on my look? I'm moving my honest to God. I just moved my hand. Like this has gone across me.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Your whole t-shirt went shadowed. It's not possible, mate. You can't be doing that. That's your whole t-shirt.
I'm not doing it. Look, I'm not doing it.
No.
Mate, there's something in this fucking room.
Yeah, 100%. Mate, gave me chills. When I saw that guy across your body there, I got me chills.
I love it. Amazing.
You got to do an experiment. You need to get one of those electromagnetic field readers.
Yeah, and like those things that they do the ghost hunting on TV shows, bunch of like equipment. Man, take one for the team, Sean. This is great viewing. It's great for the channel. We can do
on your phone, Sean. On your phone, download an app called Spirit Box. It's like a, and also there's one called. I'll send you a picture of it in the group chat. But download it. Start talking to it.
We used the spirit box once, and the spirit coming through was calling us all CUNTs.
Yeah.
The EMF reader.
That's some geezer who's got like a walkie-talkie down the road somewhere. He's going.
Mate, I used to have like you don't like this story actually on this particular subject. I used to have a really like nice attica in Barcelona, but it was in a really like old part of the city, at the north of the city, and one side of the apartment complex was a nunnery, and on the back of it was a old people's home. And one of my friends come around one night, and we on a sesh, you know, he's come around late at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever. We're still going, charging away, and he pulls out this like EMF reader and also this old voice recording box. And he was like, "Right, we're gonna put these in the kitchen. There's something definitely lives in your house." I'm like, "Come on, mate, it's a bit late for this." And one of the wrong, but anyway, long story short, he catches 3 clear EVPs. He asks 3 questions: "Who are you? What are you doing here? What do you want?" You know, and every single one of them got a response from a woman that said, "I like it here. This place is nice. I like it here." And like, when you play back the EVP, like it's just like a Class A EVP, and I was standing there watching him record it. So that stuff does exist.
Yeah, listen, I'm not downloading any fucking spirit box. I don't want to talk to anyone. I want them to leave me the fuck alone. Or the only spirit I want is fucking vodka in my drink. That's it.
Yeah. A lot of the time, mate. A lot of the time, the more you ignore it, the more powerful it gets because it's trying to get your attention. So sometimes, if you can actually communicate with it, like maybe there's something they want, you can get them to fuck off. You know. But you're probably living in a very like historical part of England, you know.
Mate, this wall over here just had this giant fucking. Oh my god.
By the way, Sean,
this
if anything
wall over
happens,
here just had a giant black feet. It looked like a spider across it.
We're watching history here. We're watching history. We're watching something historic.
Sean, if anything happens to you, can we have the channel? Can Nikos have the channel? I'm just asking for a friend.
In your memory, we'll keep it as a homage to you.
Yeah, exactly. Just
What
you
you're
know,
going to
just in
say?
case.
If anything happens, I'm really going to miss you, Sean. Yeah, that
Miss
too.
you, Sean.
But how can we have the
No,
channel?
yeah, the channel.
We can get a spirit board and communicate through that on there, Sean.
Yeah, I'll be coming after
You
you,
can
lot.
still talk.
Trust
Yeah.
me, bro.
Members want
Trust
content.
me.
Members want content, Sean.
We'll hear
I'm
the
just
clang
saying.
of a wine bottle and a couple of cider bottles next to you.
Have you ever
Right,
seen the
we'll
movie?
throw it out.
Have you ever seen the movie with Brad Pitt in it and Anthony Hopkinson called Meet Joe Black?
Yep.
Yeah, great film.
Yeah, Joe Black's in your bedroom right now.
Oh, by the way, you know, like the voodoo things that they build, they have like a little figure, they have like a bottle of rum. So that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be like a little temple for Sean with like a bottle of vodka and little, you know.
Just make sure if I die,
I'll drink
right,
fucking
at my
rum.
funeral, just make sure you throw a couple of bottles of Thatcher's in the casket with me, okay? I need to get drunk in the afterlife, all right?
Or I mean,
Look after me.
yeah, I
On
know.
your tombstone, we'll have on your tombstone we'll have hardest working man on YouTube written on it.
Appreciate that.
With the Richarlison jersey. We'll
Don't
dress
you
up as a
dare,
kid.
don't you dare bury me with a mate.
I bet it's Skrilla.
No, I keep seeing it. It's like it's happening all the time, mate. I'm going to watch your Spurs 5 show and watch you spinning out.
Sean, Skrilla sent it because we spoke about him the other night.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you put the mask on your face and it takes your soul or some bollocks, right?
It's interesting
Yeah,
that come
you
up when we're
haven't
talking
got
about
one
It's
The thing
interesting
is,
that come
the only light in the room is here. It's one
Yeah.
light. Okay,
Doesn't
so if
sense.
I do that, there should be a shadow over my face, but there isn't. Like the light's in front of me. So if you can see it, that you can see the. There you go. There's the shadow. That's from the light. Okay, so that's legit.
Mate, it's like the
Feel
sun
there.
going out. It's like the sun's going out on you. It's like some eclipse in the light.
Yep. Spurs
Yeah,
King is
also-
right. Lubo sent the ghost of Daniel Levy on you. Exactly.
Daniel Levy.
Yep.
Hardest
It's
working
Lubo's
liver on YouTube. Yeah, my liver does have to work. He's got a six pack. My liver, for now.
I'd say
Guys, we got to go. I got to jump. I got to go and do the Spurs 5.
Teflon liver.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna watch it. It's just over your shoulder, getting over this shoulder this time. It's on the other shoulder this time. But where Bugs' bed is. I'll just sit again. I'm gonna watch the Spurs 5 show and I'm gonna write down timestamps on that as well, mate.
Yeah.
Like what you've done or who you pissed off, mate, but you pissed somebody off. It wasn't just YouTube you pissed off, you've done something else.
YouTube has sent it to you. Stop us.
We've got some more. We got it keeps playing. Oh, thank you. We done it already, Craig. Thank you very much. And Kent over Wagner. You're a good man, Kent, but I don't know how to say your last name.
Fluoride.
He says, "What do you guys know about the fluoride conspiracy?" We'll talk about that. Write that one down for us
on the whiteboard.
On the whiteboard. There you go. Thank you very much indeed, my man. Thank you to Craig. Thank you to Destiny. Thank you for George, Mick, and Rusty. Appreciate you all. Listen, guys, we'll be back on Wednesday for a show if everyone can make it. Because tomorrow night we've got football, so we'll be back. It's hopefully the hackers can fuck off. The ghosts can also piss off, and we'll be back soon. But appreciate everybody. Listen, go and have a look into the Cecil Rhodes guy. Go and read up on Cecil Rhodes, and you'll get some insights into how the world that we live in, at least in the Anglo-American Empire, how he was basically the foundation of it, and yet the history books talk very, very friendly about him. And if I'm honest, he's a dirty little shit that has made us in. Dirty bastard.
Dirty bastard.
Thatcher's for life, says Daniel. Big up to you, Daniel. Really appreciate you. Guys, I'm going to be over on Spurs 5. John, love you to see. Thanks for coming on, Johnny boy.
Thanks,
and Nicholas and Eugene, as always. What are you guys up to for the rest of the evening?
Well, we're going to watch you be haunted by the spirit.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see the ghost now. I'm going to watch. It's better watching Man United play. I'm going to watch you get haunted.
Exactly.
You know what I really don't like is that if I said I think, hang on, there was something on my.
Mate, just did it again, mate. Just did it again, yeah, on the other shoulder. Yeah. Not Bugs' bedside, the other side this time.
Yeah,
it's like moving around the room. Yeah, on that side, it was there.
I hope it's just. I really hope it's the camera that's just bugging out.
Move your hands around for a little bit. Do this sort of thing. Do this on the other hand. Do the other hand as well, mate. It's not you. It's unless you can reach the light and cover the light. It's not you.
No, it's miles up there. It's not even creating a shadow on me.
No, it's not you, mate.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't know what you've done or who you've pissed off, mate, but you summon the dark side.
Ah, well.
We made history. Just amazing.
Have a good time.
Mate. This will be on a conspiracy show in 10 years' time. A conspiracy show on a conspiracy show with ghosts on it.
Yeah, live paranormal activity.
I'll see you on Wednesday, guys. Appreciate everybody. Love you all. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Ciao.